Hello, this is Masttery, and for this video I wanted to do something a little bit different. With the introduction of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there's a ton of new Pokemon that are really fun to play, and I wanted to go through and try to see what Pokemon should be added. Before I get started, I want to know what Pokemon you would add to this game. Please let me know down in the comments. There's a number of great Pokemon that I wasn't able to add to this list. First Pokemon I have is Tinkaton. Tinkaton is an all-rounder. It's known for its giant hammer and its signature move, Gigaton Hammer. And there's no better of a move to use for its Unite. This Pokemon is also unique in that it has the ability Mold Breaker, which would be a great passive to ignore some of the sometimes pesky abilities that certain Pokemon have, such as Magic Bounce or Snow Cloak from the Eevee line. This Pokemon has a ton of good moves in it, considering it has Play Rough, which is a key fairy move, and a lot of different support moves as well that help boost its ability and the abilities of the other Pokemon on its team. So Tinkaton for me was an immediate favorite of mine when I saw it. The huge hammer that it has and big grin makes it a Pokemon that's would be worth playing and worth adding to this game. The next Pokemon we have is Bellibolt. Bellibolt is a defender that is a special attacker. It has moves, great electric moves like Parabolic Charge, which allows it to heal upon the damage that it receives, which is really fits for a lot of the other defenders in the game. It also has a move, Discharge, that right now is used by Zeraora, but it would be really good to have that Brawl, take a lot of damage. It also has an ability called Electromorphosis, which when it takes damage, it will charge the ability of its electric type moves. So it makes sense that this Pokemon kind of focuses around electric moves. Of all the Pokemon that I have on this list, the two that I feel the most confident would get added are Armarouge and Scarlet. These Pokemon were highlighted in early game before the release of the new Pokemon games, and they're two Pokemon that almost every player was looking forward to use. Each Pokemon has unique abilities where one is a Fire Psychic and one is a Fire Ghost, and they both do different things. So Armarouge is much more of a ranged attacker. So that's why I had it as an all-round. They're both all-rounders, but this is more of a ranged attacker where its signature move called Armor Cannon is a really fun to play. It's also known in the competitive landscape for the move Expanding Force, which is one of the few Pokemon that get it in this generation and makes it just a really big threat. Armarouge is a much more of a melee style attacker. Its signature move called Bitter Blade deals a lot of damage to opponents, and it also allows for it to heal, which makes it really good. Think of Scissors Bullet Punch. The other move that it's known for is Shadow Sneak, and this would be a really great as a dive type of move. If you can think of something like Double Hit for Scissor that's able to jump in and attack. The fact that these two Pokemon are a little different as well would be really cool to see. In some sense, Scissor and Scyther play similar, where you want to dive into opponents. One's more of a brawler, where the other is a more speed, assassin type of Pokemon. But Armarouge I could see being a Pokemon that uses armor cannon in a similar way that Greninja's Water Shurikens do, but also you have the combined effect of the swords with Scarlet that make it really cool. So I really would love to see these Pokemon in the game. They're really strong and they're really fun to play. The next Pokemon that I have is Glimmora. Glimmora is a really strong Pokemon that's found late game in Scarlet and Violet in Area 0, where a lot of players will spend a lot of time because there's a lot of really good strong Pokemon down there. It also has a signature ability called Toxic Debris, which when attacked lays hazards, toxic spikes on the ground. And this would be really cool for people that are trying to dive Glimmora in the back line, for it to lay down this hazards to poison and slow the opponents. It also has a move called Mortal Spin, which causes the opponents to be poisoned, which would be cool to see in this game if you can imagine like toxic spikes being thrown out or other moves. It also has a move called Power Gem, which could throw different rocks at an opponent. Think of something like Glaceon's ice shards that are thrown at the opponent. Glimmora is really strong, and it's a Pokemon that I really like playing and is often underused in the game because it just so happens so late. But I'm looking forward to adding this next attacker to the game. Next up, we have Goldengo. Goldengo is an attacker ranged Pokemon that for a while in the competitive community for Scarlet and Violet, this Pokemon was on every single team. It was one of the most common things and something that each team had to prepare for. Its signature ability, Good as Gold, allows it not to be damaged, and this is something that would allow for hindrance resistance in the game, similar to how Glaceon's Snow Cloak or even Greedent, while using Covet, is unable to really be hindered. It's one of the moves that's used the most common on Goldengo is its Make It Rain move, which is a spread move in the game, but I see this almost like a beam of coins that get thrown at a Pokemon. And for those who are not familiar with this Pokemon, in the game you actually have to collect 999 coins of its pre-evolution to be able to evolve this. It also has moves like Shadow Ball and Nasty Plot, which are a damaging move and an ability able to increase its stats. Now, the one thing that I will say with Make It Rain is that the more you use it in battle in a competitive aspect, the lower your attack range goes. So this move could be used in a similar sense to how Lapras's Water Pulse is being used or displayed in some of the previews, but maybe in reverse. Maybe you have a really strong first attack, and if you get that second one off, you do less damage. So I really like Goldengo. It's a cool design. It does look a little odd. Comically, it's known as string cheese, but I really would love playing this Pokemon. I do see it as a single stage Pokemon where something like Lucario doesn't evolve from Riolu, but could be used still. I could not end this video without doing some type of supporter from Gen 9. And the perfect one that's used so much in competitive is Mousehold. Mousehold's a family of mice that enter the game and a lot of people enjoyed using. Its signature move called Population Bomb can attack a Pokemon up to 10 times. And as a supporter where you don't see a lot of damage output from them, this would be really cool to see that maybe you attack and cause slow to your team, to opponents, and you do have that chance of missing. I think that's a cool element that adds a little bit to the game and can add to your skill level of this Pokemon. It also has an ability called Friend Guard, which I kind of see almost like Comfey's Magical Leaf, where you have an area of effect that your team is taking less damage constantly. So it helps your team to have Mousehold nearby and the family of mice that can help you lead to victory. So that's it. That's my list. If there's any Pokemon that you want to add, let me know in the comments. And if you really like the style of this and future characters to add, let me know down in the comments and I'll look to consider doing more content like this.